With millions of Australians turning to the internet to find love, online dating has seen an explosion in numbers over the past few years. But it's becoming popular with one demographic in particular, and this has experts very worried.
Yeah, teens are now taking to dating sites, with reports girls as young as 15 are signing up. Although most have a policy that members must be over 18, there's nothing to stop underage users lying about their date of birth. And with last month's tragic death of 18-year-old Sydney-sider Nona Belamisov, who met her killer on social dating site Oasis Active, it would seem experts have some reason to be concerned.
Two such experts are with us now. Sally-Anne McCormack is an adolescent clinical psychologist who's joining us from Melbourne. And in Perth is the managing director of PC Guru, Jason Jordan. Good morning to you both. Sally-Anne, why are teens going to dating sites? You'd think surely between school and other social networks there's already more than enough potential for meeting people.
Well, adolescents are predisposed to dating. It's part of the normal developmental stage. And I think one of the things that with dating, it's a time for learning, and it's a time where we get, feel rejection, we're insecure at different times, we're insecure about our looks. We know that there's a lot about body image difficulties, and it's a really difficult time for adolescents.
Is this a reflection on young people to date, do you think, the fact that they're turning to these websites?
Look, there are some advantages and disadvantages to these websites. Look, some of the advantages are the fact that we don't get rejected. You put your photo up there, or you tell people about your interests and your likes, and you don't have to deal with physical issues. You don't have to be self-conscious. You don't have to worry about how many pimples you have for the day. You can actually find people who share your interests and all the things that you really love. And you might actually meet some people that you wouldn't otherwise meet. Of course, the disadvantages are the lack of chemistry, that moment of seeing someone across a room. And certainly you don't know who's on the other end of the computer. Yeah. And we know with Oasis Active, they have 800,000 Australian members, and 70% of those are aged between 18 and 35 years of age. But I guess, from a teen's perspective, these online dating forums are a perfect opportunity, and the pros outweigh the cons.
Sally-Anne, as any parent with teens who spend plenty of time on the computer is worried about now the scope for child predators, yeah?
Yeah, well, as you mentioned earlier, the 18-year-old who met someone on Oasis Active, then they actually started chatting on Facebook, which is filled with millions of Australian subscribers. There is a danger, and so it's up to us as parents to educate our children about computers, computer usage, monitor the use depending on the ages of the child. Schools have a role in this as well. They need to educate the students in the schools if they don't get the education at home. And, we need to make sure that they follow certain rules, such as not giving out personal information, not telling anyone that you're home alone, and if the adults, the 18-year-old plus, the adolescents do decide to meet someone, they need to make sure that they take a trusted adult with them, agree to meet in a public place in broad daylight, and really think about all the safety factors, and that's up to us to teach them.
OK. Jason, what's the biggest concern for you?
Look, most of it's been said already, actually. The big concern is on the internet is that there's never any guarantee that the person that you're speaking to is actually who they claim they are. And that's a problem right around the world. There's going to be that constant challenge that you can put a false photo up, you can put false information up. And of course, the kids who haven't yet necessarily developed a healthy sense of paranoia, they love the attention, and you've got to be a little bit suspicious. There could be plenty of middle-aged perverts out there who are just preying on these young people, and unfortunately they'll go out and they'll meet them, and suddenly it's a whole world of trouble.
Jason, this is your space. We're talking about, like, you live and breathe this stuff, you know all about it. Can this sort of thing be monitored? If girls or boys are lying about their age, there's really no defence against that, right?
There really isn't, and until we come up with an identity number or something like that, so that we can check against some reference to make sure that people are old enough, which, by the way, I completely disagree with, we're always going to have this kind of issue. And I think really, again, it comes back to good parenting. And I think if you can actually talk to your kids and say, look, I know you're going to do this kind of thing, I would prefer you did it with my involvement, and this is a big one, but if they can encourage a parent to come along with them, the parent doesn't have to be seen, but they can just make sure that the person that they are meeting is in fact who they claim to be.
OK, all good advice. Thank you so much. And to you too, Sally Ann.
Quite welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now